Hello again, and welcome to another edition of the Dailycoin Crypto Insider. We're thrilled to have the opportunity today to speak with a visionary within the gaming and metaverse space, the Chief Operating Officer of the Sandbox, Sebastien Borget. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's truly a privilege to speak with you.
Absolutely. Nice to be with you as well.
So, Sebastien, right off the bat, for those who might not be familiar with the Sandbox project, can you please explain what it is that your company does?
Of course. So we've been building a decentralized gaming virtual world where users and players can truly own the 3D asset and game experience they are creating or earning through the use of blockchain technologies and NFTs.
So with that blockchain and that convergence of NFTs and the metaverse, can you tell me a little bit about how you define the metaverse and what it means for the future of gaming going forward?
To us, the metaverse is this digital parallel universe where anyone, any human being, could actually interact, live more immersive, social, rich experiences just through a 3D avatar that becomes a new identity, their representation of themselves. And we start to differentiate between like the old Web 2.0 closed metaverses where like you do not own your data and it's all really focused on the old way of monetization where you are the product being monetized versus more open decentralized metaverse where users own their identity, own their digital asset, own their cryptocurrency and can transfer them away to other applications, to other virtual world, and those are the more decentralized and open one.
Thanks for that explanation. So within that context and that definition of the metaverse, what role is Sandbox playing right now as that metaverse accelerates? And what role will it play in the future, the Sandbox in particular?
So we are part of the open metaverses, the decentralized one, where we embrace the idea that users should own their data. It's a world that's made by users, governed by users, and where users should receive 100% of the reward from the value they create into this whole new digital nation in a way. So basically, you can become a creator, you can become an architect, designer, fashion designer, you can launch your own business on top of your virtual land in the sandbox. All the value you create here goes back to you straight away. You're a player, you're spending time, you're engaging, you're making fun activities with others, you're collecting reward as you're winning games as well. Those tokens are yours, you can sell them, you can also earn a revenue. That's the true opportunity we think in the metaverse to use NFTs, who are assets that can hold value, and be able then to develop a whole economy of services, new jobs around them, and making sure that economy will be player-owned, user-owned, and benefit first and foremost to people who contribute to populate and create that world.
Very exciting. One of the things you mentioned is you specified and said that the Sandbox is working within the open metaverse. Can you talk a little bit about how you perceive if there will be interoperability across that particular model and some of the other types of walled garden approaches that are being constructed by other organizations, say like Meta / Facebook? Do you foresee interoperability seamlessly across those platforms for users down the road?
Definitely, like interoperability is a feature that comes from using blockchain, a public database that anyone can trust, that provide the transparency, the notion of true ownership, of authorship, who made it, who owned it, how many digital copy of it will ever exist, so digital scarcity. And by having like digital asset, which can be game asset, can be virtual land, can be avatar, represented on as a token on this blockchain that the user carry through his wallet and can access across different decentralized applications, we can implement what is called interoperability, just the definition. That interoperability is still not yet fully seamless. I think that it requires some work. Essentially, any developer has now the possibility to access the token that is owned by the user and give it a new utility. So let's take a concrete example. You own this world into an RPG game. This world, another game can detect you are the owner of this world and decide that, well, it's a racing game. So instead, I will give you a car. And that car you can use in my game. In the case of virtual world, the simplest image we can give is avatars. I own this 3D character, that's my representation. Well, I can have the same representation across all virtual world. Yet it requires work and implementation by every single of the world, but the connection, the interoperability exists and is possible. And Sandbox is one of the pioneers into this space, since we're enabling users to display the NFTs they own already into our virtual world. And we already can detect as well that you own certain NFTs and give them a 3D representation, turning from a 2D image, for example, into a 3D character that can suddenly become playable, can jump, run, fight, do various activities. And then, well, it's a new use case that can increase its value and prove useful to connect more people in the community and more.
It truly is an exciting time, and this technology just wasn't even possible a few years ago, but so exciting to see it coming to fruition now and to be in these early stages and early days and on the forefront must be very exciting for you as a co-founder of this space and a forefather, if you will, of the metaverse. That's quite remarkable. A question now, you had mentioned about that this would be an economy for the users. In past interviews, I've heard you say that you predict that the virtual economy of the metaverse will exceed the real economy that we see and are living in every day. Can you explain that and how that might be possible to individuals who might not understand that?
It's pretty simple. Well, let me try to make it simple for you, maybe. The idea is like, well, in the physical world, we have like goods, physical goods that hold value. They are made somewhere, and then there is all the logistics, so it's being shipped to the place where they are purchased. We can purchase online, we can purchase directly at stores, etc. We value the work of the production, of the people who are selling those goods, and this is creating the economy as we know it. In the metaverse, we can have a digital economy that is based on the production and the sale of digital goods, the assets such as NFTs, and digital services, which consist into like creating, animating, selling, promoting, curating, discovering, etc. As soon as someone is ready to pay for the time you're going to spend to do this service in exchange, and they see value for it, then bingo, you have an economy. That economy is sparkling many new jobs, creators' jobs, like we're talking about virtual architects, fashion designers, game designers, level designers, houses designers. We're talking about players, coaches. We're talking about virtual real estate agents, for example, and many other jobs. Like millions of people will be working and interacting in the metaverse to produce the content that is needed to populate those virtual world and virtual experiences. Those jobs can be paid, they can hold value, and they contribute back to the overall value of the space where those people are interacting. It's almost like a new country, a new nation, where like entrepreneur gets rewarded for what they produce. This economy, I believe, will become bigger than the physical world economy because it's no longer bounded by the limitation of the physical world. We know as soon as you have like an internet connection and a computer, you can access that economy, and you do not need to wait like shipping from one place to another, which is lengthy process, costly process, etc. A virtual goods or digital goods that's produced can be sold immediately, be made available globally. You have access then. Imagine buying virtual land. It's a great comparison. Everyone is familiar with real estate. In the metaverse, owning a virtual land allows you to build and experience a game, a house, a museum, an art gallery, a virtual concert, you name it. Like only limit is your imagination. In a matter of hours, maybe days, weeks at worst. In the real world, we're talking about months, years. So the acceleration of time, it's also like going to impact. But also like we no longer are bounded by limitation of like raw materials. Like yes, the NFT themselves are limited, but like the voxel that you use to create all those content and characters, they are not. So essentially, we can create an unlimited amount of asset that can cater to different audience, an audience that becomes global into this virtual world, since the assets, since they can connect from anywhere with their connection. Plus, those assets increase in value and utility, as they are not limited only to one virtual world potentially, but can be used, reused, or increased and gain utility into multiple virtual worlds. It's almost like taking a car, taking a book, building a shoes. And you were thinking, oh, these shoes can only be used before into the Nike. You buy a Nike shoes and it's only available into the Nike store, and you can only use it in the Nike tennis club. It's so limited. And that's what the centralized virtual world are. When you create something on Minecraft, you can only use it in Minecraft. You cannot transfer it to another user, sell it to another user, etc. Same from Roblox, same for Facebook, etc. In the metaverse, the open one, it's no longer a boundary. You can use it anywhere you want. You can sell it on another marketplace than the one where you initially bought it. That's indeed the benefit of an open economy.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Another real world related type of question. Here in the US over the past couple of weeks, both the House of Representatives and Senate have had hearings on stable coins and cryptocurrencies. One of the questions that came up from one of the Congress representatives was the issue of regulation of the metaverse specifically. And two questions for you there. Is regulation needed? How would that work in an open virtual jurisdiction such as the metaverse?
I think definitely, like, regulation is here normally to protect users from certain abuse or bad practice, which means like we as a platform building an open metaverse need to be exemplary, lead by the good example of what are the possibilities and what's being done. When regulators are looking at metaverses, they are looking because Meta typically is a company that's not been doing great practices. Actually, they are in the middle of their own trial lawsuit relating like some bad practices and decisions they made. And that's, I think it's normal that when suddenly they announced we're going to build a metaverse, like they were right in the middle of this. So where do they shift attention to? Like, it's no surprise. However, I would be careful to not mix everything, and that to consider that, well, the practice of the Web 2.0 businesses, which like we're tracking a lot of user data without their consent, monetizing the user, serving them ads, etc., are not necessarily the practice of the new builders in the space who are taking a more decentralized approach where users own their data and choose how they can use it, etc.
Final question here. What do you expect to be, in your opinion, the main component or the main thing that's necessary, the main on-ramp, I guess, for mass adoption of the metaverse over the next 5 to 7 years? In your opinion, what's the one critical piece that needs to be in place?
I would say it's not about the technology itself. Like technology is making things great, but if there is not something fun, there's not something cool for users to do, something different than what they've seen before, they will not jump in. And that's something important that sometimes because we are building into this Web3 fashion, we tend to forget. At the very start, it has to be fun. It has to look great. It has to be a place where people want to come back. And those are things that games and gaming mechanics usually provide really easily. And from there, once people are hooked, people are coming back for the social interaction with others. They are progressing into gameplay, etc. They will want to start learning more, being educated towards some of the benefits of why is it different and why it benefit them first rather than before. And to that extent, yes, there is a lot to talk about the metaverse right now, and many people are wondering what is a metaverse. So we are looking for examples, etc. Sandbox launched its alpha recently, and it ran for 20 days, giving a first taste. We had really good positive feedback. We had hundreds of thousands users enjoying, and of course social media, you can see what they've done. And so far, I think we've done an okay job, if not good job, to to show all the different flavor and all the different possibilities, whereas some other are just putting the metaverse, you know what, if you play, you work, and that's it. So come on, like life is a full of flavor. There's a lot
Indeed.
of slice of your life that you can have online now through that avatar that will not be just like working on the whiteboard or playing GTA. So we need to make a metaverse that's more culturally rich, immersive, feature both celebrities, artists, brands you like, but also things that are born in the metaverse, the community people like and follow online now in blockchain space, etc.
So any closing remarks that you might have that I haven't asked you about that you think might be important to viewers at home who might be seeing this? Anything you'd like to share with them in closing here?
It's been an exciting year at Sandbox. In 2021, we've seen amazing growth. We've more than quadrupled the number of landowners. We've more than multiplied by almost 5 times our user base already, wow, moving to 1.3 million registered wallet. So we're very thankful to the community that's been following and bringing like more awareness about what we are building and participating to this success, and hope that they also enjoy seeing the value and the benefit for them as they contribute to building that world together with us. And we're looking forward to 2022, where we're going to keep up doing things bigger, better, faster, hopefully, and deliver to that vision of what we hope like people want and will like to do into the metaverse.
Excellent. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Dailycoin Crypto Insider. Sincere thanks to our guest, the COO, Sebastien Borget of the Sandbox, for being so generous with your time and your insights. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. See you in the metaverse.
Indeed. And to our viewers, please be sure to share, like, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you these types of incredible guests. Until next time, thanks so much for watching.